Cloudcast Media.
Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and whenever this gentleman is on the docket, it is a great day for Cloudcast Media and the Spotlight on the Community Show, and me personally, his longtime friend and honor to call him a colleague, arguably the greatest CEO in the San Diego Humane Society history, and that is Dr. Gary Weitzman. Gary, it's always good seeing you.
Oh, you too, Drew. I look forward to these.
You know, the interviews are always great content because I keep my mouth shut and let you do all the talking on it. And joined by my producer, Brandon Joe. He has just been killing it since he's been involved with Spotlight and a lot of our Cloudcast Media. He has been on the show when you come on, and he'll be my co-host. How you doing there, Brandon?
I'm doing fantastic. Always glad to talk to you. This is exciting.
It is always good. Let's get right to it. I know it's been very much publicized that San Diego is going through some very difficult budget cuts. And there's been probably 3 revises of the budget, or maybe 403.
Right. That's probably more like it.
Yeah, exactly. However, in a very serious nature, something is, if this goes through, with no changes and no iterations, it's going to have an impact on you guys. Talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, the whole world's having an impact on everybody now.
Correct.
San Diego City, with their budget challenge, I certainly understand that. We're going through that too, and I think every human being right now in America is going through that. So, we've loved the relationship we've had with the city of San Diego. It's been a model, animal welfare relationship.
You said that, right.
But we also know that we have to be responsible to our own supporters, our constituents, our donors, the animals, the public. And there's a certain level of work we have to do, and it has to be funded one way or another. We're willing to take on the brunt of the funding.
You always have.
And we're happy to continue. We want to. That's the whole point of having a nonprofit support a city and be the privileged entity that gets to do the services for the city, and we don't take it for granted. It's a privilege, but we want to support it. To date, we're supporting every year about $10 million of that contract ourselves.
Wow!
So there's a limit to what we can, but we're going to stretch. We're going to do everything we can to make sure that animals are treated the same way we've always been able to treat them, and we can support the public, and we can keep people with their animals. That's the goal.
Yeah, I know in some of the recent news reports that quoted you with some of the budget cuts that have been laid out there, some of it is literally going to have an impact on the safety of residents and the safety of animals. Talk about that.
Well, it can't. I mean, that's just simply it. If we're responsible, yes, we have to do it in a certain way. We won't compromise on how we do it. I don't mean that we're going to, strong arm the city and say right, we're either doing it this way or not.
Right.
But what I mean is if we're going to do it, we're going to do it right.
Right.
But the problem is that somebody has to pay for that. And it's either going to be the contracted party, which is us, or the contractee, which is the city. So we're going to come to some balance here where we can make sure that we'll do this program, keeping people safe, keeping animals safe, taking care of animals the right way in the shelter, the way we need to.
So talk a little about, before I turn it over to Brandon, how, the police aspect of, dogs and safety fall under you guys, correct?
Yeah, they do.
Talk about that.
Yeah, it's animal protection, and it's actually people protection, really.
Right.
I mean, when this was all originated, 200 years ago, when there was ever any kind of animal control, quote unquote, we don't use the word animal control anymore, it's animal services. It was all about keeping people safe from rabies, predominantly, and then from dangerous dogs. And now it's a combination of both because animals are our family. So it does fall on us. Everything that has anything to do with animals falls on us. We work hand in hand with PD. We do. They're great partners. We need them because sometimes, unfortunately, you need a police presence because they control people. We don't do that, but they need us to help with the animals, and it's been a great balance.
Yeah, there's no question about it. When somebody, and unfortunately, when they get publicized, they've abused animals. They got 403,000 cats living in a bedroom, not good, and so forth.
Right.
And that's a very important component of the job.
Yeah. There's actually, we probably do. I'd have to really just think on average. Dozens of hoarding cases of animals in bad situations. Dozens of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Brandon.
I was going to say, you stole my question. But I was just going to ask you, because the direct impact of the Humane Society not having funding is the management of all these different hoarding cases. Like, that's you guys helping with that.
Right.
In addition to all the stray animals that are on the streets, that's the Humane Society
It
again.
is. Mm-hmm.
That's
absolutely.
And so talk about a little bit about the origin of this partnership with the city, because it always I don't believe you guys always existed since the founding of San Diego County. Like, when did this happen?
Oh, we kind of did, actually. We're the oldest nonprofit in San Diego County, which is astonishing to me. How can we be older than the Catholic Church here?
Right.
I don't think we can.
Really?
Be, but technically, we're the oldest nonprofit charity in San Diego County.
Wow.
And so we actually we're 145 years old. We had our very first shelter, if you can call it that, in Balboa Park before it was really Balboa Park. And there was another office that was downtown when there was very little of downtown. And we were created to actually take care of horses and also to take care of children. It's the most amazing history, but it's very common amongst humane societies. So we kind of have been working for the city since 1880.
Wow. Yeah. I had no idea. Thank you for educating me.
Right.
Well, I think a lot of people, and this happens in any field, when you've got an organization that runs like clockwork, like the Humane Society, and it just doesn't happen because it happens. You guys work very hard, and your predecessors have get a lot of credit for it too. It's seamless. Yeah. And you don't realize, oh, wow, that's what the Humane Society did, because it's seamless. They've taken care of fill in the blank, right, in that area until there's no funding to do that blank. And then what is wrong with the Humane Society? They used to keep us, and you're not there to point fingers. That's not the point, or strong arm the city, what you're saying.
Right.
But that's how life works, Talk about that.
Oh, the behind the curtain is that you need funding to do all the work that any nonprofit or any for-profit does.
Right.
Yeah, and that's exactly it, Drew. If we're going to do this, whether we're reimbursed by the city or compensated by the city, I should say, not reimbursed,
right,
or not, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it the San Diego Humane way. So we're going to do it. We hope it looks seamless. Believe me, it feels anything but seamless when we're working on how to do all of these things.
Right.
But we have to do it that way. And honestly, we're gonna do it. Animals are going to be safe here. We're going to do this. We hope that the city will decrease the cut a little bit more so that we can come to a middle ground. And regardless, I understand what the mayor's going through. He's a really good friend. He is struggling himself to try to balance all of these competing interests. We know we're just one of them, but it's an important one. And I don't know that we can give back more than the $11 million we've already promised to do.
Well, I think because you've hit the nail on the head in some of the articles you've been quoting in, and when it gets to this point, then people better pay attention. It's public safety. And we all know you can say whatever you want about Chargers left town or this and that. When it comes down to what people want is to be safe, whether it's from, animals, whether it's from crime, whether it's from streets, whether it's from X. That's the bottom line.
That's the baseline. Yep, absolutely.
It's and we tend to forget that sometimes, and they go, wait a minute here. I need to feel safe. We're chatting with Dr. Gary Weitzman. He's the president and CEO of the San Diego Humane Society. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest running community podcast, now in our 19th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, 6 decades of doing great things in San Diego County. Joined by my co-host, Brandon Joe, also the producer of the Spotlight Show. Are you an animal lover, Brandon?
Oh, I'm a huge animal lover.
You better be.
Well, believe it or not, there are people that...
I know. I feel badly for them.
They're missing out on a lot.
Right. Exactly. What pets do you currently have, probably none in the dorm, right? We're not in the dorm.
None in the dorm. None in the
apartment
dorm.
now,
Although I've heard of a couple of people in the dorms have cats.
Yeah.
I won't share any names. UCSD, don't
Right.
be listening.
Just allegedly.
Yeah. I heard some things through the grapevine. I have a Maltese Shih Tzu, I describe him as a white crusty dog, but he's brown.
Okay.
So it's just a classic, goofy-looking, small, fluffy dog.
Now, did you grow up with animals?
Yes, I did grow up with animals. We used to have a yellow lab that I grew up with all my life. He was my older brother.
100%.
And now
that's great.
He's passed away, but I have so many good memories of sitting on his back and riding around on my undersized horse. But
Well, it's interesting, and Gary knows this from the day. How long have you been in the Humane Society?
Oh, about 700 years, I think.
Well, you got 700 more to go because I've threatened Gary with, we're not letting you get out of this county. You've done so many great things.
I don't want to.
Yeah, well, we can't afford to have you go for 75 different reasons. But I think what is so cool about it, and the first time I met Gary, I think his question was, hey, do you like animals and all that business? And I go, well, let me just tell you this. My mom raised 7 huskies when she was a girl up in Saskatchewan. And growing up, I had a cricket farm, had a pet snake, had a rabbit, had guinea pigs, had dogs, had a turtle. I grew up with animals. And it makes a difference, does it not, Gary?
It does. I think it does. I also think that you're born with it too, honestly. I wanted to be a vet since I was like 2 years old. And my parents did not want us to have dogs. So I didn't get my first dog until I was 17 years old.
Why?
I just think it's, they're a lot and they're worth every minute of the a lot, but they're a lot. And so instead of getting dogs since I was about 7 years old, I had 65, 70 gerbils. They're legal in Massachusetts where I grew up.
That is beautiful.
I had a couple of guinea pigs, hamsters, chameleons, parakeets. I just filled that house with animals until they finally succumbed and we got our first dog.
Right. And so now, and see, so what Gary's doing is the term I call he's backloading. Well, he didn't have the dogs when he was up to 17. He has a million great dogs. We come back from break, Gary. I want to talk a bit about Advocacy Day efforts and so forth, and then Adopt a Pet Day as well.
Okay, sure.
And then I want to circle back to the city budget cuts. So think about this when we come back from break. What could our listeners do to help support your efforts? Advocate for the Humane Society, write letters to Todd and all that business as well. We return with Dr. Gary Weitzman, President and CEO of the San Diego Humane Society. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. We will be right back.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest running community podcast. In our 19th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, 6 decades of doing great things in the community, whether it's food insecurity, whether it's the arts, financial literacy, and everything in between. They do a great job. Chatting with my longtime friend and colleague, Dr. Gary Weitzman, President and CEO of the Humane Society. He's in his 700th year at the Society. Always honored to have as my co-host, producer of the Spotlight Show, Brandon Joe. Brandon?
I have a quick question. What is Advocacy Day?
Oh, yeah, Advocacy Day. There's a lot of advocacy days at the State House in Sacramento and at most state houses. For us, it's California Animal Welfare Advocacy Day. So one day a year, people that love animals and that want to support them and want to advocate for them go to the State House and meet with our legislators, usually those that are representing us in our own districts, or we're in their districts, and we get a day that they're just regaled with everything about animals. So it's great. It's nice to see people that are supporting animals, and it's a lot of fun, really.
Yeah, you talked a little bit about, the budget cuts in the first segment. So if someone wants to advocate for you, do you suggest they write to their local city council person? They write to the mayor? They do both?
Yeah, actually, at this point, mostly writing to their city council person is a really great idea.
Yeah.
The mayor's got a lot on his plate. I think he's heard from everyone. I think he's doing what he can and what he has to.
Right.
But I think city council, let your city council member know. Let them know how you feel about whatever. It doesn't have to be about the Humane Society necessarily, but certainly about anything that is on your mind. That's what they're there for, to represent us.
And they listen. People think, well, my letter's not going to make a difference. It makes a difference.
It does.
It absolutely makes a difference, and so forth. What's Adopt a Pet Day? I mean, is that new? Have you been doing this for a while?
It's kind of new. It started last year. It's sponsored by the ASPCA and San Francisco SPCA and California Animal Welfare Association, and it's one day a year. Last year it was the first Saturday of June. This year it's still the first Saturday of June. So it's moved ahead one day, so it's June 7th. And every shelter that's participating, there's 145 or more that are participating throughout the state, where adoptions are free that day. And we're just hoping to really free up some space, get some animals into homes, and make some families happy, and set aside some space for what's coming for the summer.
A common refrain since you've been coming on the show is you guys are exploding and just stretching the boundaries. How many pets do you have that is way over the limit?
Oh, we got dogs right now are at a low number. We're only at 150% capacity on dogs.
Instead of 1,000?
Really, seriously. It's been at least 200% capacity. Cats are much lower because we aren't overwhelmed with cats right now, but we've been overpopulated with dogs for at least the last 2 years.
But it's going down, you said.
It's down a little bit, but I'm very cautiously optimistic.
Right.
We need people to come in and adopt dogs, and we need fosters, especially for big dogs.
Right, and I think we talked about that before. One of my close friends fosters dogs, and then him and his wife always get into a little bit of a spat when he goes, we're going to take this dog in. That would be 105 dogs if you wanted to do that. So, but that does happen, correct?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It does. It really does. So anybody that is interested in helping, just check our website. We've got all sorts of ways to do that.
One of the things we just talked about, there's so many things you folks do that doesn't necessarily make headlines. And then, we didn't have a budget item for that, but we got to do it.
Yeah.
The horrible plane crash yesterday up in Murphy Canyon, Cessna, crashed, took out some homes, a bunch of homes, 15 cars. People on the plane perished. We're still trying to figure out what that number is. But you were right there. I didn't realize this. You said a bunch of the animals had jet fuel on it.
Yeah. Jet fuel, either that was combustible, which is a real fear, of course, or smoke from jet fuel, and they were just coated with the odor and the debris from all that. So we did a lot of baths yesterday.
That is, how many would you say you did?
At least a dozen.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Were any animals, killed in this?
No, thank God. And thank God no humans were killed on the ground, but
That's
unfortunately the passengers on that plane.
Right, exactly. And when you looked at this, the film, you go, my goodness, how did this happen? The perfect storm, no pun intended, in a bad way of how it took out so many things.
Yeah, seriously.
To be in that neighborhood. But talk about that as well. Gary, you've been on the show talking about whether it's a fire or earthquakes or pestilence and famine or whatever the case may be. You folks are there. and you're either sending people around the country, Katrina or whatever the case may be, or in our backyard. And like anybody that deals with crisis communications or crisis like that is, you got to stop what you're doing, correct?
Yeah.
Talk
I mean,
about
honestly, it really is true. We feel like firefighters.
Right.
We're on call 24/7.
That's right.
Something is happening, or there's obviously a natural disaster that we know is coming, so we can prepare for that. But often it's just at a moment's notice.
Right. So we always leave part of the interview for this, the call to action. Money doesn't grow on trees, no pun intended on this, or maybe pun intended, I don't know. To sustain, what you folks are doing, especially in the light of some of the challenges, probably donations are more important than ever.
Oh, yeah. And, everyone's nervous about the economy right now.
Right.
Nobody knows which direction it's going, really. It doesn't feel good every day. It doesn't feel bad every day. So hopefully things will even out. But, we do rely on the support of our donor base. We certainly do. And we're really lucky that in San Diego, this community is incredible. The love for animals and not just companion, but wildlife, too, which is one of our missions as well. People are being generous, but we just want to ask them to continue to support as much as they can. And we want to be there for them when they need us.
Yeah, and I think, on the wildlife refuge you folks have out in East County, and really credit to the Union Tribune. They do a pretty nice job covering some of this. Didn't you? You had something featured in the paper recently.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, we have a bear cub.
That's right.
Oh, my God, this would stop you from not loving animals. If you said, I don't like animals, but you saw a picture of the bear cub that we have, who's now about 3 months old.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm seriously, he looks like something FAO Schwartz would have put together, but he's real. But our challenge is going to be getting him to rehab enough so that he can be released in about a year, because it takes a year.
How did he come to you folks?
Sadly, a hiker over by Lake Arrowhead heard him and heard a bear crying and called in California Department of Fish and Wildlife. And they're the ones that are responsible for all of these animals. And we're one of only 4 rehabbers in California. So they called us and said, we're bringing this cub down to you. Do what you can. Then they went back to try to find the mother.
I was
just hoping that they were just separated, but there's no sign of her anywhere. And they waited and waited and waited. So we know that he's an orphan. Chances are she was killed, but obviously we don't know the story. But we're going to actually have to keep him probably for another 10 months, because it takes that long till he's able to be released.
How big is he now?
Oh, he still can fit in your hand. Honestly, he might be all of maybe 9 pounds at this point, maybe 10.
And in 10 months, how big will he be?
Oh, he's going to be hundreds of pounds.
I mean, do they get full grown in a year? Or
No, he won't quite be full grown in a year, probably 1.5 years to 2 years. But if we can get him, he won't have the stresses that other cubs would have in the wild, obviously.
Right.
So our trick is going to be keeping him from getting used to people. Because if he does that, then his next environment is going to have to be a zoo, and we don't want that to happen.
Right.
So we could certainly use the support for our wildlife endeavor here,
right,
and to support Project Ramona up in Ramona. Project Wildlife up in Ramona, which is part of the Humane Society. But yeah, it's part of the work we do. It's really that is truly an honor to be able to work with these animals.
Well, when you just go to the website and you take a look at all of the things that you folks do, I mean, we only just touched on. I'd call it when you deal with Gary Weitzman, it's the iceberg theory. You see the 10% above the surface. You don't see the 90% below.
Oh, thank heaven nobody sees the 90%.
Yeah, well, you're right. It's like making pork, I guess. But the bottom line is, this is why it is so critical to get a hold of your councilman or woman and really fight for some of these things with the Humane Society. It's because we're safe and we take it for granted of the things that you folks do. And listen, I know you hate when you get these accolades, but too bad, it's my show. You got an unbelievable staff. Talk about that.
Oh, I do. I mean, honestly, we're really lucky there. I'm the luckiest person on earth, because the people I get to work with just make me, I'm just amazed at their breadth, their capacity, their compassion, their expertise. Really, I don't have to do anything because they do everything.
Well, that's not true at all. Did you have another question, Brandon, at all?
I'm just curious, like if you could speak directly to the people who have gotten used to the safety that the Humane Society provides. Because I know that as a person that was born and raised in a safe environment, it's hard to imagine what it'd be like without the safety that you would provide. Talk pretend like you're talking to them. What would you say?
Oh, I would say, number one, first above everything else, please adopt. Because people are forgetting to do that. Even though everybody knows the adopt, don't shop mantra, there are a lot of wonderful breeds out there that you don't necessarily see in a shelter all the time, but we have everything. Check with your local shelter or a rescue group before you get your next dog.
Right.
That will help us. And spay neuter, that's why we're in this problem right now. That's the big thing.
Are they not doing it because they can't afford to spay or neuter? They're not aware of it? Oh, really?
Possibly. And also there hasn't been enough spay and neuter access. So we're going to be opening up a spay and neuter center in about 2 or 3 years. And we're going to be starting a really huge community spay and neuter initiative in July.
Why isn't there enough access?
There aren't enough places to do spay and neuter.
Has it always
at a
been
reasonable
that way?
cost. It kind of always has, but it got worse during the pandemic.
Right.
And it hasn't really recovered. We're going to hope to change that on July 1st.
Right.
And this year do 20,000 spay neuters for the community. On top of the 25,000 we do in the shelter. And those are the things we need the community support for.
100%. Gary, it's always a delight having you on. Any final comments?
Oh, no, I love coming in and talking to you guys. It's the best thing ever.
Well, you do great work. Gary Weitzman, he is the president and CEO of the San Diego Humane Society. Go ahead, call your councilwoman or councilman. Really very, very serious. Got to reduce the amount of budget cuts. As Gary said, we know the mayor's got a tough deal to go with, but this stuff that really does with public safety. We're going to look forward to your return appearance. You'll be back on to your detriment and just talk about 55 other great things going on. And wishing you, Gary, always nothing but great success until we have you back on.
I can't wait, Drew. It's a highlight.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Dr. Gary Weitzman, President and CEO of the San Diego Humane Society. I'm Drew Schlosberg. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest-running community podcast. We've been doing this for 19 years now, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. Over 6 decades doing great things in San Diego County, from food insecurity to financial literacy and everything in between. We hope you enjoyed the interview.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.